Hi guys, it's Brian, and today I want to give you guys my review for Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 3, titled Alaska. So this was mostly an Althea and Dwight-centered episode, but it was actually, not bad. It was pretty good. I give it an 8 out of 10. Definitely better than World Beyond, Episode 4. So the episode starts out with little Morgan, and Morgan is looking over her, and, we see Rachel, her mother, is also there. So Morgan has been bringing, some food and supplies to them for the past, I guess, week or so. And I don't know if I heard Morgan say brought or bought. I thought he said bought for a second when he was saying this, all the supplies he's, brought to her. But suddenly Rachel notices the supplies some more. One of them is jam, and she asks Morgan where he got this from. And Morgan tells her that he knows somebody on the inside of Virginia's community. Most likely he's talking about Daniel, I would have to say, and he says that Daniel doesn't know where they are. And, Rachel tries to ask Morgan if he wants to hold little Morgan, but Morgan says he's not up to it right now, or his arm. And, so I am glad these characters are coming back. And anyway, Morgan goes outside, and at first I wasn't sure what he was doing, but it's pretty obvious Morgan is just fixing up his, axe to make a sort of, long stick with it. And Morgan talks about how he's been 16 different versions of himself since it all started, but Rachel tells him that even though he's changed, he'll still be the person that, they'll recognize, the man that he once was. So that was good. We get the intro scene or sequence with Althea. So this episode is mostly about her. And after the intro, we get actually Dwight. We get to see Dwight finally, and him and Althea are breaking into a funeral home, and they're killing walkers, and they have cameras on. And I'm glad the whole episode was not stuck in the cameras. But so yeah, apparently for the past 5-6 weeks, Virginia has assigned them to track any places in the area, and just kill all the walkers and just try to figure out what happened to these people. I guess kind of record how anything new, any dead survivors, that kind of thing. And Althea is looking around, one of the rooms, and she hears her radio go off, and it's Isabella, so she is writing down on a notepad as fast as she can, and she is she's just listening to the conversation, and suddenly she gets attacked by a very fresh walker, and Althea she gets attacked by it and struggles. And yeah, this walker was pretty weird. It was this walker was so stiff when she grabbed Althea. And yeah, so I really thought this was a person, but my goodness, this is just the most fresh walker I've ever seen. So Dwight stabs her in the head, killing her, saving Althea. And Dwight mentions maybe some psychopath put abominable fluid in her or something, so that's why she's all stiff like that. And yeah, so I don't know if this might be a new group we're gonna see in season 6. So we're gonna have to wait to see. So Dwight is checking in with other Virginia's people, the other pioneers, and saying how there's no living. And Althea, she says that she is tired of doing things Virginia's way and all this stuff, seeing dead people. And Dwight, shows her some beer that he managed to find, so they can take a break. So outside, Dwight is trying to ask Althea about Beer Lady, but we know it's Isabel. And, Althea actually hasn't really told Dwight a whole lot as far as Isabel. And yeah, but suddenly the radio goes off, and, Dwight manages to listen in on the conversation. And, he starts asking Althea some questions, anything he can, because he's, he mentions how she always keeps it hidden from him, and how she always evades his questions whenever he asks her about the girl or the woman she's trying to find. So yeah, Dwight is pretty surprised too. Things like land down, and it's it sounds like a helicopter. So yeah, so Althea says how they're gonna meet up in the city, and she wants to catch her. And Dwight says they should forget about protocol and just go there. And just meet her, I suppose. And yeah, Al is very hesitant, but she eventually decides to agree with him. And yeah, they head off. So in the city, I'm not sure what city though. Maybe you guys know in the comments. But anyways, Dwight kills a walker, and yeah, so they're in the city, and they're outside the building. And Dwight actually looks. They're playing a game where they find people's licenses and what state they're from. So yeah, And we get the end is the beginning graffiti on the wall. So those Mexican guys from the first episode, it looks like they're going to be a group this season. And Dwight and Althea, they come across the staircase, and so when they go to the stairs, they find this caged rat, and Dwight doesn't really like rats, and suddenly a walker falls on top of the cage, smashing it. Like, this was actually surprising, and I don't know, it was kind of funny to me, honestly, just the way the walker just like squished that cage. You know what I mean? But yeah, Dwight, he kills it, and him and Althea are going up the stairs, and they barricade the part of the stairs they went through, but suddenly they're held at gunpoint by these random people in the building. And I thought this was going to be like the Jason group, but I was wrong. So these people are not wearing masks, and they're not bad. And they ask Althea about the cameras, and if she's if she's part of the group that shot their guy who was on the roof. And Dwight and Althea are talking, they're arguing in a different room while they're waiting to be questioned, I guess. And so the woman is asking them, she says that she saw the tapes, and she tries to ask Dwight and Althea if she can call their boss, Virginia, to help them, because their community, or their place that they're in, is very sick right now. A lot of people are sick and dying. And they're, about to die. And Althea pulls Dwight aside, and she talks to him about how she knows why these people are so sick. She mentions that they have the plague, like the rat earlier. She says that it's like the Black Plague, from Europe, that resulted in millions of deaths. Obviously, in modern times, it's not as bad, but still is pretty bad. And yeah, so Althea decides that she can't do this, so she goes in the staircase again with Dwight and barricades the door, because Althea really just wants to meet Isabel again, and she doesn't want to do it if she's sick. She talks about how she felt alive when she was with Isabel. So yeah, anyways, her and Dwight are talking some more, and he asks her some more questions, and Althea talks about how she only knew her for 2 days, and she asks about Sherry, and Dwight says that he kind of gave up on believing he'll find Sherry. So, while they're walking, Althea comes across this like really weak wall. I'm not sure about this. This part was a little bit weird in the episode, but the wall starts chipping away, and Althea is able to make a hole, and they go inside the wall and start climbing the pipes, and this way they can avoid the stairs and the walkers. I mean, although it is pretty dangerous, I should say. I'm just pointing that out. And they come across like even more rats, and yeah, they have the plague. Man, this place needs cats or something. So yeah. Anyways, after that, Dwight and Althea, they managed to make a hole through one of the 20th floors, so they are pretty high up in the building. So after that, they managed to get through a certain floor that has a bunch of walkers, blocked off with a bunch of furniture and stuff. And because the walkers died of the plague, they technically have it too. So that was pretty interesting. And Althea and Dwight, they run inside a bathroom, but Althea notices something on Dwight's neck, and yeah, apparently, I don't know how, but somehow a rat got to Dwight's neck and bit him or something. Yeah, I don't know. That was really weird. I mean, we didn't see it, you know what I mean? And Dwight didn't even react. So Althea talks about how maybe they should just go back, but suddenly they hear gunshots, and yeah, it turns out that the woman Nora actually went back for them and saved them using the bullets in her gun. And she tries to make a deal, that she'll get Al and them to the roof, and like they can help them out, I suppose, like help them find antibiotics to save her people. So Dwight and them are killing walkers, and even the Nora woman is shooting her gun, killing walkers. And I gotta be honest, this is so refreshing. Like, I get tired in The Walking Dead when they introduce new survivors and they don't know how to kill walkers. But, this woman, Nora, she knows how to kill walkers, and I appreciate that. So she kills a walker with a chair, but she starts crying because she actually knew him, and, she's just a little upset. But Althea gives her the license of the guy that was outside who dropped from the building, and, so that way she can remember him, and she thanks Althea. And Althea, is about to go to the roof, and she asks Nora to take care of Dwight, while she's gone, and, find some antibiotics for him because he's infected. He's going to show symptoms. So yeah, Dwight is saying he left a message for her on her camera, and they hug. So yeah, this was pretty cool. So on the roof, Althea is, just on the roof, and she looks around and sees a crate full of, flare supplies, and she looks at the message Dwight left for her, and yeah, he talks about how just have a beer with Isabella, and like Dwight is, he'll be happy for her. You know what I mean? And Althea, she smiles, but Althea decides instead to change her mind. Like she takes the flare gun and puts a flare in it, and then decides to shoot it in the sky. And even though we think she's trying to get Isabel's attention, it's not to pick her up. You know what I mean? She tells Isabel that, like, listen, this place is, it's dead. These people have the plague. You should land somewhere else. And yeah, so I don't know if Isabel, I think she probably recognizes Althea's voice, but she doesn't say anything because there's other CRM soldiers on the radio chat. And yeah, but I mean, she tells her how she's glad that she's hearing her voice, and that's pretty much it. The helicopter turns around, and I really don't think we're going to see any of the CRM this season. I think that's pretty much it for Isabel. So, Althea, she finds the beer crate, or some beer in the crate that Isabel mentioned, and she even finds some antibiotics, which is pretty interesting. And Althea radios Dwight and says that, she's coming down to him, and they managed to get the antibiotics to the people who are sick before any of them, die in turn. So that was pretty interesting. I don't know what's going to happen with these people in the future episodes. Maybe they'll join Morgan's army or something and fight back against Virginia. And Althea talks about how she had to turn back because she didn't want to lose another brother. So that's pretty interesting that she sees Dwight as another brother figure in her life. And Althea is talking to Nora, and she mentions how while she can't come with them to Virginia's place, she will find a place for them. So the people are going down the stairs when Althea notices the can and mentions that maybe the group who left that graffiti is the one who left the rats with the plague into this building. So it wasn't Jenny. It's just like this new group, I guess, of guys who are looking for the key that Morgan has. So very interesting. I'm curious to see how this all ties in. Suddenly, Dwight hears, a message on the radio, and it's Sherry. Like, he hears it's Sherry, and he starts running outside. Dwight is frantic. He's looking, and he sees, a woman in the alleyway, and he starts running towards her, and it's just crazy. Like, I kind of expected it, but still, we finally get to see Sherry after all this time. Like, something, even the Walking Dead main show couldn't do this. They brought back Sherry, and, Dwight kisses her, and we're getting this. Althea and Nora also go outside to see the reunion, and yeah, it's really nice. We get the spinning camera angle of them together. So yeah, and that's it. The episode is over. So yeah, this episode was an 8 out of 10, I would say. Not the best, but it's still pretty good. So in the teaser for next week, John is talking to Virginia and saying how helping people feel safe is good, but he actually wants to take steps to make sure people are actually safe, instead of feel safe. And so John is in like some sort of grave here at nighttime with a flashlight, so I'm not sure what he's doing. And here he is, talking to Virginia about it. So most likely John is some sort of ranger for Virginia, so that's pretty interesting. We have a scene with Morgan, and he's like looking inside some kind of shed or something. Not sure what this is about. So we have Strand and John meeting again, and they hug. He says, like, you're a sight for sore eyes. We have Virginia telling her sister Dakota to go back inside. So yeah, and after that we have Janice. She's doing laundry, and she asks John what's going on. So she's going to be in the episode, and we have this walker who is like very damaged. It's a fresh walker. This guy had a brutal death, say. So after that we have Morgan, and he's talking to someone. It might be one of the Mexican guys from the premiere who's looking for the key. So who knows? Anyway, we have Virginia looking at a grave, and it says Cameron, and he's the ranger who was seen with Alicia and Strand back in the second episode. After that, we have a voiceover of Strand telling John that if you do this, there's no going back. It looks like John has his gun drawn, and he's walking to maybe where Virginia is, maybe the killer. Who knows, honestly. And after that, we have a nighttime shot with John, and he has his gun drawn. It looks like there's a stereo in the tree or something, so I'm not sure what's happening. Don't know what that stereo or what that thing is for. And here we have John, very angry, and it looks like he's punching someone, beating someone up. And yeah, we actually find out it's Strand. So most like maybe Strand tries to stop John from killing Virginia, and they get into a fight. Who knows, honestly? And Virginia is down. She is looking. So maybe Cameron has died, or maybe John beat up Strand. We have someone being locked up in a cell. A lot of people thought this was Madison, but no, it is not Madison. Most likely it's John. And we have John screaming, or he's angry. He's at nighttime, so maybe he's like in a grave or something. And here we have a walker that jumps in and falls into the grave that John is in. So yeah, I mean, Alaska. What can I say about this episode? Wasn't really the best. I'm not a huge fan of Althea, but we had some good interactions between her and Dwight, and we had finally got the return of Sherry. And yeah, I mean, this was a pretty decent episode, 8 out of 10. And yeah, please tell me what you guys thought of the episode down below. And until next time, guys, take care. Bye.